now,
Yeah.
right here,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
calling her out.
Uh-huh. I like it.
Calling her out
Okay.
is what I'm going to do.
All right. Well, let's begin it then. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Go on now, get ready. Coat your fists in grease, and then roll them in glass.
What if he's right and you're wrong? Shouldn't we consider that possibility?
The morning stream. I got a thumb. I got a middle finger.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. This is the morning stream for Wednesday, July 3rd, 2019. Scott Johnson here. Brian Ibbett there.
Yes. Hello. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. Hey, did you do a bunch of lifts yesterday? Oh, you did. You got to. I just missed this.
I did a massive amount of lifts yesterday, actually.
All right, we're gonna get to that because I want to hear what happens. Because you're trying to play catch up, right? You're trying to get your goal.
I'm trying to play catch up, exactly, because didn't lift at all from Friday all the way through Monday because of the bike thing and because I was sick. And that reminds me, really quick, if you don't mind if I do something, call somebody out.
Do it.
In our chat room here. So this whole bike thing happened, and I thanked a lot of folks who were really, really supportive and donated money to the cause. And there's one person that I need to thank who even went above and beyond, and that is Jeannie. That is our very own Jeannie in the Tadpole. She, like, every time we talk about the bike thing, she would post a link to my page to drum up donations and mention it. I think she even might have done it a couple times on Facebook and pinned the post in the Tadpole and stuff like that. I don't think I would have gotten nearly as many donations, and the MS Society would not have gotten nearly as many donations as they did if Jeannie would not have been so awesome.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw out a big thank you.
She deserves big credit for that.
She does.
For what she did.
And as soon as I can figure out how to do it, I made it onto the local news.
Oh, what? Explain.
Yeah. So while we were racing, God, I keep calling it racing. It was not a race. It was a ride. It was like there was no race about it.
Okay.
There was no prize for coming in first. While we were riding, I noticed a dude sitting on the side of the road with a camera pointed directly at us. And as we passed him, I noticed also there was a van on the side that said CBS News 4. And so immediately I start shouting at my phone saying, "Hey, Siri." I'm going to call her that for right now.
Okay.
"Hey, Siri, send a text message to Tina saying, please record CBS News 4. But because of the wind and because of, I had those bone conduction headphones on, which do have a microphone, but the wind is like going... It was saying things like, "January, Fred, marketing, perplex tomato." Would you like me to send it now?
Yeah.
No, change.
Yeah, she's not great with the wind blowing on it.
Yeah, during a dead point, I finally got it. I got her the message. She recorded all of the CBS News programs for the day, just in case. And so we fired it up, and sure enough, the exact point that I noticed the camera is when they recorded me. So you see me and my Uncle George and in a group of people all riding towards the camera, and then they take another shot of just my socks.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yes.
Wow. Are you happy about that? How do you feel about your socks?
Of course I am.
Okay.
No, I'm happy about that.
All
yeah.
Right. Good.
I look so darn goofy with those big old goggles.
That's great. You should have clipped that out. Is that something I can see? Is there a link or a video or something I can see? I want to see this.
I wonder if, you know what, now that I say that, let's talk about your thing, and in the meantime, I will see if I can find a link, because I'll bet you there's got to be, right? Because they put those packages online for people to watch.
Usually, yeah. So you should try to track that down, and we should all be able to watch that and enjoy your socks together.
I would think so.
Yeah. All right, so here's
my socks.
I want to see, these socks sound legendary. I haven't seen them yet. So here's the deal. While I was doing something on the air yesterday, I was streaming, My wife shows up with a syringe.
Uh-huh.
And she says, "Hey, you ready for this?" I said, "What's this?" She says, "Your prescription came in for your low T shot. You want your low T shot?" And I said, "Okay." And we looked at it. And this thing had a needle about that long on it. It wasn't this thick, okay? It was thinner than this.
Right.
But it was
Yeah,
still
but
kind
that's
of
still
thick.
pretty freaking long.
Yeah, it was pretty long, 1.5 inches we measured. And it has to go in your butt meat. That's the plan there.
Sure.
So I said, "Oh my gosh, it's here," and I kind of freaked out. And then we just went ahead and did it on the stream. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Some people emailed me and says, "How can you do such a private thing on a stream?" It's not that big a deal. So what? I get
Yeah,
the
you didn't
shot.
show the needle going into your butt.
No.
It's not like you had to worry about that. No, I saw the video, and dude, the audio, you've really got to make sure that you keep mentioning the fact that you're getting a low T shot,
Yeah.
because the audio is priceless in the fact that it sounds like something else is going on.
Yeah, it does.
But you're gonna put it in now?
Yeah.
Oh my God, is it gonna hurt?
Yeah.
Oh
Wait,
no.
Is it all the way in? Like I kept saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
It was phrasing. It's phrasing is what it is.
lots of phrasing. Exactly.
Yeah, I did a bad job at that, but it didn't hurt. Like I was thinking this whole time, and she has to go all the way up to the hilt with this thing. She's got to go needle point all the way up to the hilt, and I thought that was going to kill me. All I felt was just a tiny sting, barely anything, and that's why I said, "Is it in all the way?" Because there was no way that I thought that was just going to kill me. It didn't hurt at all. It was just like no
Wow.
big deal. In fact, all right, here's the clip. Somebody sent it, so let's play it real quick. Because why not?
Okay.
All
Oh
right,
yes, please. This is
I'm gonna
good.
Open this in a new window. All right, here we go. Here's audio. Wait. Okay, it's muted.
Hold on, I don't know.
Okay, wait. This is right when
my
she's
gosh.
about to do it.
I don't know if I'm ready. Hold on, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Wait, lower. Wait, where does he say to put it? Wait, honey, don't do it yet. I'm scared. Hold on. Wait, honey. Ah! Is it all the way in? All the way? Oh, that's not bad. That's it?
I mean, I was actually quite surprised how
Oh, man.
it didn't hurt. It's no big deal. It was just no big deal. It just kind of went in. So now I'm not stressed about it. I did have this weird feeling
Good.
though after.
Good.
I talked about it on the stream, but after for about, I don't know, half an hour, my arms were hot. Isn't that weird? Like all warm
Yeah.
and hot.
Your arms were like they felt.
Yeah,
felt-
like they were hot, like they were in the sun and nothing else was in the sun kind of feeling.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
It is weird. Apparently it's common. It's not that unusual, but
Oh, really? Okay.
it just felt weird, and I wasn't used to it. So it's that rush of getting it into your blood, this raw hormone, this man hormone going into your blood at high speed, apparently can just create some weird sensations. And so I had that for about 20 minutes, and then it was fine. Then it was no big deal. All is well. But for those who are worried about me doing a thing like this on the air, whatever, man. So what? Y'all got to go in and turn a
Yeah.
cough sometime. What's the big deal? It's just a little shot in your bum.
Oh, that's totally silly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not that big a deal. All right, you find
No, I'm
video.
surprised. I was really expecting screams and pain and all that sort of thing.
Oh, I was too. I thought I was going to be miserable. Dude, it's 1.5 inches all the way into my butt meat. I don't want that.
Butt meat.
Yeah. Anyway,
By the way, we talked about that, George and I, that you add the word meat to anything, and it makes everything funnier.
does it?
Yeah,
Let's see. What if-
like come up with any word, and add the word meat to it, like sack meat,
sack meat. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
or
you're right.
cheese meat.
Cheese
You know,
meat.
everything, any word you add to.
What if it's meat? That's no good.
All right, well, almost every. God, leave it to you to find the one word. Anyway,
It's not good redundant. All right, did you find the thing?
No.
Did you
I'm
track it
still
down?
looking. I'm still scrolling through. It's funny. If I probably could have found it. I probably could have found it 2 days ago, or yesterday, a lot easier.
Oh, right, because they put them up the day they do them, and
They do,
yeah.
exactly. So
Right.
I'm going to keep looking, but I found their page about stuff about the. Yeah, I might have to. I might have to do a little search. But if anyone wants to look, it's denver.cbslocal.com is the is the site, and if you want to find, basically it was the video that they aired Saturday afternoon,
Okay.
and
We have sleuthy listeners. They can go check it out.
we do have very sleuthy listeners. But let me tell you a little bit more about lifting yesterday, Scott. So
Okay. All right.
after the show yesterday, I went up, made lunch, came back down, worked on freelance until about 3:00. Then I decided, all right, I have 28 rides I still have to give before the end of the day Saturday night. Basically, I have until midnight Saturday night to get in these 28 rides. I don't think that's going to be a problem, right? Because it's 5 days. Sure, there's one of those days that I'm going to be pretty busy with other things. Actually, 2 of those days, but I still think I can do it. So I trugged up to Boulder, fired up the old Lyft app, and started waiting for rides. And it took forever to get that first one, like 45 minutes. Then it was kind of a pretty steady stream. About 3:45, 4:00 is when this second rush of the day happens. First one being first thing in the morning. The second rush of the day happens, and it's perfect. It's all these little short rides. This one to here, this one to here. Ooh, this one's a shared ride, so I pick this couple up here, and then I pick this other guy up here, and I drop him off there, and then I drop the couple off at this restaurant, blah, blah, blah. And then I get a Lyft request from a place called The Sink. Now, The Sink is a Colorado, it's a Boulder college campus legend. This is a pizza place that makes these amazing pizzas that I haven't had and kind of haven't even thought about since I've been on Weight Watchers. But now that I've remembered it, it's like, oh, I want to go there and just scarf one of these pizzas down. But they're piled high. It's like really good crust, really good ingredients, and a really good atmosphere. And so I'm picking up a couple. There it says 2 people going 8 minutes southeast. I'm like, great, all right, cool. Keeps me in Boulder, love it.
Yeah.
So I picked them up, and immediately, so the lady gets in the back seat, and the dude gets in the front seat, which I think is kind of weird, because if it's 2 people together, I usually think that they're going to both get in the back seat. Almost always, they get in the back. Both
Yeah.
get in the back
When
seat.
Kim and I are doing a Lyft or a Uber, we do that. We sit in the back.
Yeah. Immediately, the guy, I can tell he is sloshed to the gills, to the point where he's barely understandable, like barely able to tell what he's saying. And he's like, yeah, you had to pull up a little bit. And I don't think there was, let me be clear. I don't think that there was any other handicap involved. This is clearly a man who is overserved. I can feel like I'm pretty good about telling the difference being next to people who I happen to live next to.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, did she put him in the front seat? Because here's my immediate thought. She put him in the front seat because he's prone to puking
Oh,
if he's
no.
in the back seat. Because there are those people who like, oh, I can't ride in the back seat or I get car sick.
Yeah, no, my wife's that way. She hates the back seat for long trips. It has to be a long one, but yeah.
Immediately my first thought.
Yeah.
And and I'm thinking, crap, it's gonna be one of these situations where he's gonna have to throw up, and I've got the little barfy bag in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the pocket of the passenger seat where the back seat person can easily reach it if they need it immediately.
Sure.
But not if they're sitting in the front seat.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's like, I don't want to bring up, because even talking about puke can sometimes make people sick if they're on the verge.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say, do you think you're going to puke? Are you going to get sick? Because I don't want them to say, well, it wasn't until you said something. Because if I have to spend an entire day cleaning and airing out my car, that's really going to kill my ability to hit my numbers.
That would kill my ability to want to do anything ever again, is what that would do. It's awful. Ugh.
Right. So as I just kind of kept him in conversation. I said, so did you guys, how was the pizza? And he's, oh, we didn't have any of the pizza. And I said, oh, really? Because the Sink is known for the pizza. No, we just sampled a really good apricot IPA that was really good. And I'm like, oh crap, he drank nothing but apricot, like an IPA beer, like just pounded down the super hoppy beer. And now I'm starting to smell him too.
Oh,
It's that kind of drunk smell. 8 minutes later, I'm pulling up to their place.
No.
Get him the heck out of the car. And no, it did nothing.
Oh,
Fortunately,
good.
nothing happened.
Good. Oh, I was worried for you. I was on pins and
I
needles
was
here.
worried the whole ride. But he's my first super drunk Lyft passenger, because I may have had some other passengers who were a little tipsy or a little buzzed or something, but this is the first one that was just 3 sheets to the wind, basically.
Oh, that's a bummer, dude. But
Yeah.
at the same
That's
time, you
all right.
dodged the bullet. Well done.
Yeah, and I did have to air out the car after he got out of it. It's like a weird kind of sweet, almost a tart smell
Ugh.
that they give off that you can just tell. It's like, okay, I think that he had the IPA, but I think he might have also had a lot of whiskey beforehand.
Dan Wally in the chat says alcoholics have a special smell. I've lived with a few.
They really do.
Ugh.
Yeah, they really do.
I don't want a special smell.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
And I know you haven't asked, but we the chat room asked this morning before the show started. I'm at 75%. I was really hoping to be in the 80s today for you,
yeah.
but I feel like I'm just at a solid 3/4 of the way to the finish line percent of health-wise.
Didn't you?
Three of my 4 hearts are full.
That's better than my prediction. What was mine? 72 or 3
You
or
said
something?
70s. Yeah, you said in the 70s.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you
So,
did.
yeah.
This is all right. 75%.
Yeah.
Hell, that's
75%'s all right.
yeah. That's not a lot to ask in life. 75% all the time.
Well,
would be
no.
good. Well, good. Well, I hope I'm not going to die from this. Look at this. See that thing on my finger? See that little red mark?
Yeah, by your knuckle.
Yeah, I got a spider bite. And
Ooh.
I don't know what kind of spider because I didn't see it when it did it, but it's starting to swell up and itch like crazy. We don't really get like deadly spiders here or anything, but
No, it's probably not if it was a brown recluse, we'd be seeing the inside of your hand right now.
yeah, I'd already be sloughing off flesh and stuff like
That stuff I hate that stuff. Like
Yeah.
the
Ugh.
the necrosis, the skin is just eaten away, kind of.
Yeah, I don't want to see any of those pictures. But yeah, I got bit. If I was down in Gidget's land, I'd be
In
dead.
Australia.
Yeah, I'd be dead. I'd be a
That's
skeleton.
what Gidget says. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
It looks like a red big spider bite.
These spiders. We have some pretty gnarly stuff in the desert areas of the state, like southern Utah. But here in Salt Lake, where we kind of, we're pretty. What's the word? When you have a climate that's kind of temperate? No, temperate's hot. What's the? I don't know the term. Shit. Whatever it is.
Like cool, arid.
It's dry, but it's also we get winters. It's like you get
Arid,
all the
extra dry.
yes, arid, extra dry.
Isn't that funny? I never thought about it, but the name of their product is a synonym for dry, just spelled with an extra R.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that either. But you're right.
Yeah,
It is.
arid deodorant.
Is extra
Like,
dry. It's like
we
saying you're
need to-
already arid. Now you're extra dry.
Right. Arid, extra arid.
This is great that we're learning this all these years later. All right, fine people of Earth, we're going to do a game, and you can be involved in it directly. We missed it Monday, which, was fine. We didn't
I
do
still haven't listened to Skim S.
Skim MS.
Skim S.
Yeah, we didn't do Dunaway. It was really the only change, and then Steven wasn't here for other reasons, but we did have Daryl on. He talked about stuff, so that was interesting. But we've had to kind of change gears a little bit, and so as a result, this is this week's first attempt at some Battle Royale. Number is 801-471-0462. We're gonna play this game, and it starts with this. All right, on the line we have with us Mr. Brian Dunaway, the Brian Dunaway. Hello, Brian.
Oh, hi, Scott and Brian.
Hello. How are you?
Brian
Are
Dunaway.
you at work?
How are you guys doing?
Oh, real good.
I've done better. Right now, my arm hurts. Thanks for asking.
Why's your arm hurt? What's going on?
Why
Spider
my
bite?
arm hurt?
Yeah.
Because I went to the doctor yesterday. Went to the allergist. Never been before, and they poked me in the back
Yeah.
as they do, and they said, "Oh, we found a grid. Time to
Oh,
do
they
test."
do that whole array. Yeah.
Yeah, they said time to do the second grid. It's like, where's that one going? In your arm. Wait a second while we call
Oh.
the guy in with a dozen needles. and he's gonna stick you a few times.
I didn't realize they did that. I
Ow.
knew they did that in the back, but I didn't know they
Yeah.
did that in your arm as well. Why?
Yeah, this guy will.
Is your arm going to have different allergies than your back?
I think they ran out of room. It's like, oh, we
How
ran out of
small
room in
is
your
your
back.
Yeah.
It's so small. It's a tiny back. No, I actually got a big
You
old
have a
fat
little itty
back.
bitty back?
You don't have a big fat back. You got a little hatchback.
Got a big old fat back. I'm a big old fat back.
You got a little
But,
you got a little
so-
electric hatchback. You look fine.
Right. So come to find out, I'm allergic to cedar and oak and something called orchard grass, which is what they use a lot for hay around here. And then he came at me with the worst news ever.
What's that?
He said, "You're allergic to cats."
Oh,
And I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
"What?"
you have cats,
What?
right?
Because you have
I
cats,
have
right? Or
cats.
have a cat. Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
cat.
Right. My allergies, the reason why I went to the allergist is because I used to have seasonal allergies, but over time they have developed into all the time allergies.
Yeah, they
And
can
so this
change.
was the
They
question.
evolve. I knew a kid who had a peanut allergy that would kill him. That when he hit puberty, it went away. Never had another problem with a peanut. But on the same token, you got people who are just fine with soy their whole life, and then suddenly at 35, they're like, "I can't stop shitting all over the place. What's wrong?" Something with the soy, man. You got to be careful.
So there's a lot of tension at the house, a lot of tension. Me walking in, it's devastating. You don't think it's going to devastate you, but you walk in and you look at your cat and you go, and they're like, "Pet me," and I'm like, "I just don't know right now, my friend. I'm having issues.
Yeah.
I've got to, figure it out.
Poor
I
kitty.
got to figure it out."
Poor kitty can't get his
Poor
loving.
kitty.
Well,
Poor kitty.
I mean,
What about poor Brian?
Poor Brian. Poor Brian.
Poor Brian.
But the
and
cat-
poor kitty.
Thank you.
Poor Brian's kitty.
The cat don't care is what I'm saying. He does not give a
Oh,
rat's
he
ass.
must have knew because he was all on me last night. It was like, "Oh, hi. Heard you have allergies."
Yeah, rub my face in your fur. Whoops, something just dropped. Did you guys hear that? Hold on. Oh,
Yep.
I dropped a metal straw.
bowl of yogurt.
Yep.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool? We have metal straws now in the house. It's to save on the environment there, so we don't waste straws.
Nice.
Anyway, we have a caller on the line. Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Philip from Illinois.
Hello, Philip. Thank you for your patience and hanging in there for us.
Can we just keep it short and call you Philinois?
If you want to, that would not be the weirdest nickname I've had.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay.
What?
Now I want to know.
Yeah, what
What's
part-
what are the top 3 weirdest nicknames you've ever had? Just the number one. No, never mind.
We don't want to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's leave that off air.
Maybe we don't want to know. What part of Illinois do you hail from?
Northwest suburbs of Chicago.
Oh, very nice. So wait, Northwestern University, kind of Evanston?
Around that area.
Okay.
Area called Lake Zurich.
Oh, okay, cool. I spent some time in Evanston with a friend who was trying to get to college there, and I really liked that whole area. It was very nice.
Nice area.
Well, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. We're going to play a little game. Brian Ibbett will explain what it is, how it works, and what you could win. Brian?
That's right. I'm going to give Scott and Brian a topic. The two of them are going to go back and forth volleying answers for that topic. If one of them gives a wrong answer or repeated answer, or they take too long to come up with an answer, the win is going to go to the other player. Your job, Philip, is to predict who is going to come out on top based on the topic, much like the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Today, you are playing for a Frog Pants Rando pack in the mail. That means it's a bunch of stuff that Scott scrapes off the bottom of his desk and puts in a padded envelope and sends directly to you
Nice.
for your enjoyment.
Nice.
Complete with a little bottle of Purell.
Yeah, there'll be some extra
no, I
stuff in
imagine
there. There'll
Yeah,
be some cool
prints,
stuff.
stickers.
Prints, stickers, couple of rando things. You'll never know what you're going to get in there, but I promise it'll be good.
Very good. That is your prize. Before they can start, though, they need a topic. And that topic today is from me. I came up with this one because in about 7 hours, 8 hours, I'm going to go see Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah. Hearing good
And
things.
in about
Hearing
10 and a
good
half
things.
hours, I'm going to tweet all about it and
Wow.
give every damn spoiler. And I won't. I don't know if that's
Sweet.
a thing.
Great.
But it got me thinking I really wanted a Spider-Man related Battle Royale today. And I thought, well, what better to work with than Spider-Man's amazing Rogues Gallery? The dude has, I think the only one that can compare is Batman's Rogues Gallery, but Spider-Man has an amazing Rogues Gallery. And so many of his villains, supervillains, have been introduced throughout the years. I had to figure out a way to narrow it down. Here's what I decided to do. I want you to name Spider-Man supervillains. So J. Jonah Jameson, Flash Thompson, and the Burglar.
Oh, so
Not
human,
not
right? Not
super
so
villains.
human. Yeah,
That's
just so
right.
human.
I'm
Gotcha.
getting those three out of the way right now. Supervillains that were introduced within the first 50 issues of the Spider-Man comic book, the Amazing
Wait.
Spider-Man comic book.
Wait, okay. So we're gonna go with supervillains released in the first 50 issues of Spider-Man.
Supervillains who were introduced, right, in the first 50 issues of
Oh my
the
God.
Spider-Man
I
comic
know
book.
this is tricky as hell.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because the first, that's going to be classic and introduced, and not just. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that
Introdu-
really.
well, introduced and not just what were you gonna say? Like, not
Well, I
just,
mean, because he's got crossovers from other
Mhm.
comics, so we got to
Yes.
exclude anything that pre-existed that just happened to pop into the Spider-Verse, is what you're saying.
oh, right, that's a good
Mm.
point. Although in those first 50 issues,
There wasn't any crossover.
well, we'll play that
was
one
there?
by ear. I'm trying to think of who crossed over because I don't think you got.
I don't know. I was just trying to. While I was going through my head, I was like, okay, well, that makes it a little more,
Yeah,
complicated.
everybody that I'm looking at in this list is a classic Spider-Man villain. Maybe, yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
All right. Okay. Good.
Alright.
Good. Good. Let's go.
All
Let's
right.
go.
All right. So, Philip, knowing that that's the topic and that our two players are not at all confused by this, who do you want to go first, and who do you expect to win?
Well, now that Scott had his shot, I'm going to trust his memory and say Scott's going to win and Brian can go first.
Oh my gosh. That is some real faith
Well, all
you're
right.
putting into that inch and a half. All right, I'm awesome. I mean, that's great. We'll see if I can do it. Did you say Dunaway to start?
Yes.
Okay, Dunaway,
All
you
right,
go
Brian
first.
Brian Dunaway, give me your.
I'm gonna go
answer.
first. I know this guy is a classic. I've seen this comic a million times, and he was in one of the more recent Spider-Mans. I'm gonna go with the Vulture.
The Vulture, yeah. Adrian Toomes, the original Vulture, Blackie Drago later, but he was introduced in May 1963 in issue 2 of Spider-Man and played
Oh.
by Michael Keaton most recently in
Yeah,
the films. Brian Dunaway on the board, and we are off to the races with the Vulture.
I'm gonna be really bad at this. Let's say the Scorpion. Scorpion.
Scorpion.
Oh, the Scorpion.
Scorpion. Very good. Mac Gargan, introduced in issue 20 in January 1965. Former private investigator. And now there's a different person. No, I'm sorry. Mac Gargan in the current comic lore, or in current Spider-Man issues, is actually a different villain. But I don't want to say anything because I don't want it to steer you down any wrong road. So Scorpion, Mac Gargan, correct.
All right.
Okay.
I don't want to confuse things.
Well, you can't have a Spider-Man baddie list without going with Dr. Octopus.
Sure. I think
Octavius.
one of his arch enemies for sure, Dr. Otto Gunther Octavius. Didn't know he
Right.
had a middle name, did you?
No.
Introduced in issue number 3, July 1963. A bunch of metallic limbs that get fused to his body.
I thought he came later for some reason. I don't know. why I
No.
thought that. Yeah,
Throw me the idol. I'll throw you the whip.
I guess so.
That's right.
Oh, jeez. Some of these in my head are gonna just be.
By the way, Spider-Man was like one of my favorite comic books. X-Men and Spider-Man is what I kind of grew up on, other than horror comics. Didn't get to the DC universe until later.
Mhm.
You know what's funny?
That
is
actually might be where you have the advantage, Brian, because I think Scott was a DC guy through and through when he was a kid, right?
I totally
Right.
was. I read some Marvel, but it was almost all DC growing up for whatever reason. And
Yeah.
it wasn't even main DC. I always gravitated toward like the weird Vertigo stuff and like freaking Swamp Thing and just the darker stuff. I used to love The Question. Oh, The Question was great.
Oh.
Guy with no face. Anyway, let's
Yeah.
say Rhino because I don't know. Maybe Rhino.
Yeah.
Rhino.
Okay.
Introduced in issue number 41 in October 1966. Alexei Mikhailovich Sistyevich, kind of famous for being dim-witted, played by Paul Giamatti. As close as anything else, played by Paul Giamatti in film, not in an MCU official film by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. Well, we can't go on much further without mentioning the original Green Goblin there.
Yes, the Green Goblin. Sorry, I had to move a cat who was dangerously close to knocking stuff over off my desk. Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn also for a while. Introduced in July 1964, issue 14 of Spider-Man, Green Goblin. Throws pumpkin bombs and flies on a goblin glider.
What a jerk.
Can you... Is it? We're not supposed to say
Because
group.
Pumpkins and goblins go together.
These can't be groups, right? We can't do like a super group of bad guys.
There is a super group that I will take.
Oh,
you will take
if
it.
you can. Yes, you don't have to name the individual members, but there is a super group that is not on my list, but I would consider them one of the absolutely one of the original Spider-Man villains.
Okay, I'm gonna hold.
From the first 50
from the
comics?
first
From
50
the first
comics.
50 comics.
I'm gonna hold that one. I'm gonna hold that
I
one
can't think of a
because
group that-
I totally can. It's gonna be my ace in the hole if you screw up.
Interesting.
I'm gonna hold on to it.
Wow, I'm amazed. If you get this, I'm gonna be really, really impressed.
All
'Cause
Might be
it's a
tricky.
toughie.
All right. Let's do. I can't remember if you guys said this one. Did anyone say Sandman?
You should say that one.
Okay, Sandman.
Yeah. William
Oh no,
Baker.
I already said it. No, it's good.
And but also more famously Flint Marko, and played by that dude with the three names who was in Wings, and Ned and Stacy, whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, he was He was speaking of Paul Giamatti. They're in that movie about wine country.
Yes, right. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. That Thomas Hayden Church. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
J.K. Grammer.
He was great.
Yeah,
he was really good on. It's the western I love so much. Tombstone. He's great in Tombstone. Sorry.
Tombstone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically has the ability to turn himself into sand, or I think his body is formed with sand, and he can manipulate it in any way he wants.
It looks really cool too. The effect of him looked really good. It's the best thing about that movie.
Introduced in issue number 4 in September 1963.
All right.
By the way, there are 21 total. If, I hadn't mentioned it.
Right.
No, you hadn't. Okay, that's good to know. All right, Dunaway.
I'm gonna go with things that you haven't already said. I'm trying to remember. I was holding off on this one. Craven the Hunter.
Craven the Hunter, one of my favorites. Yes.
One of my favorite covers of that of Spider-Man.
I don't know who this is. Never heard of Craven the Hunter.
Craven, you definitely have heard of Craven the Hunter. Wears a really goofy vest that looks like a lion's face. Sergei Kravinoff. It's goofy. Come on, it's goofy. Let's see. Sergei Kravinoff was the original, and then his son took over, Alyosha Kravinoff, and then his daughter, Anna Kravinoff, took over. Many Craven the Hunters have been around. Issue 15 is where we got the original, August 1964.
Never in a movie, though, right? That guy? Never.
I can't, unless he appeared...
Not unless like a cameo or something. I don't remember
That's
anything.
what I'm thinking. Did he
I would have been
appear in
stoked.
Did he appear in a cameo? I want to say he might have appeared in a cameo.
Maybe.
I don't remember
In one of the Andrew
not in the
Garfield.
Spider-Man movies. I can't think of any that I've seen him.
Yeah,
in,
he
but
doesn't-
Maybe not even battling, but like as we just get a Craven mentioned on TV
Well,
or something.
Right, maybe that's maybe a possibility.
That's
maybe
what
like
I'm
a
thinking
maybe
is
like a maybe like a picture frame somewhere in Osborn's house or something. Maybe I don't know,
Could have been.
something
Yeah.
weird.
All right, I'm gonna go with this one. I feel a little nervous about because I think it's crossover character, but I don't know for sure. So I'm just gonna say the Kingpin,
Superman.
Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
Ooh,
Oh.
so glad you said that. Issue number 50.
Oh,
See, this was the question I had because I know he was in the Daredevils a lot at the same time,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of crossover, and I couldn't remember if
I don't know where he first started.
More in with Daredevil than I do Spider-Man.
I totally do as well, and I don't remember where he started, but I know he was a. So that's why this one was I was worried about it.
But he's definitely in that universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. His body consists mostly of muscle, despite
And
looking like he's obese.
Mm-hmm.
And it still has strength and agility enough to grapple and hammer Spider-Man. Appeared in issue number 50, July 1967. A story called Spider-Man No More.
Jeez.
My
Wilson
favorite
Fisk the
one,
Kingpin.
my favorite version of the Kingpin is got in the movies is Into the Spider-Verse. It's just, he's such a
He's
good-
so good in that. Yeah.
He's so
Really good. By the way,
He's such a block.
Yeah.
Craven appearing in film has not appeared yet. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Mark Webb confirmed that Craven the Hunter Spear does appear in the end credits for The Amazing Spider-Man because they were working on a Sinister Six thing, so they kind of wanted to do that.
Yeah.
However, Sony has also announced that it is planning on developing a Craven the Hunter movie as part of Sony's Marvel Universe with Antoine Fuqua to direct,
I like him.
which is crazy. Training Day dude directing Craven, which would be great.
I could see that. He did he's done all kinds of weird stuff like
It's a
replacement
gritty.
killers.
I mean,
and-
he's a big game hunter that comes to the city to hunt Spider-Man. I think that's a great Training Day kind of feel to it.
Yeah, but he also did like the most recent Magnificent Seven remake, and like he does stuff that isn't just dark and gritty. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's a good director. I like that guy.
Yeah. He'd be great.
All right, so you did Craven the Hunter. Was that the last one we just did?
That is the last one. No. Kingpin was. Oh no, I'm sorry.
You just did Kingpin.
Oh, did I
Yeah,
just
you
do King? I'm sorry.
Kingpin.
Kingpin was the last one I did. Go ahead, Brian. It's your turn.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with the most disappointing. Didn't go far enough. I wish they had done more with Electro in the movies.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Took him.
Agreed. Having him played by Jamie Foxx.
Right. Who I thought looked fantastic. I mean,
Looked
it wasn't
fantastic, but they.
Yeah.
I can understand them not doing the big silly lightning face mask.
Oh no,
deal.
that's such a fun.
But I didn't like the whole like turning him blue like Mr. Freeze kind of thing.
Right.
Maxwell Dillon. I think he's he's one of those guys that climbs up telephone poles and works on the electricity. Got zapped by lightning and turned him into Electro in issue number 9 in February 1964.
All right, let's go with someone who is like Electro, but also not, and is also a sex move. Let's talk about Shocker.
Wow. Okay. Indeed, the Shocker.
I don't remember Shocker at all. Well,
He's the guy who looks like he's wearing a padded quilt for a costume,
Yeah.
like a diamond sewed padded quilt, and he's basically he made these power gauntlets that sit on his wrists and shoot things. Herman Schultz.
don't remember Shocker at all.
Really? Have you seen do a look at?
I always
the
mix
guy.
him up with Electro because I in my mind the name's too similar, and so I just mix them up.
Right.
I do that all the time.
And we actually get the Shocker and Scorpion appearing as henchmen for the Vulture, employees of the Vulture that turn into henchmen for the Vulture in Homecoming. Herman Schultz is the Shocker, issue 46. So woohoo! March 1967, really close, but
Interesting.
Vibro Shock gauntlets.
Vibro Shocker. Feel it.
Yeah. Feel it.
All right. Mysterio.
Let's get. He is kind of like the current villain question mark.
Question mark, maybe.
Come
We're gonna
on.
see.
Anybody who knows Spider-Man comics. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I feel like I know what to expect. Mysterio, Quentin Beck, basically wears a big fishbowl on his head filled with vape smoke. So it's got to be good. Issue 13, June 1964, is when we first saw the mysterious Mysterio. Has
How many-
the superpower of good special effects.
How many are left on our list now? Because
Let's see. 1,
I
2,
only can think of about 2
3,
more.
4,
That's about all I have.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 are left. I think a couple of these are gettable,
okay.
but then it is going to start getting harder.
There's a few that I don't remember at all. I can see their character designs, but I can't see their names.
All right, I'll try the
Unless
one.
their name
I'll
is
try
Dirk Dauber.
I'll try the team I'm holding on to
Okay.
because I don't know what else to do. I'm out. Sinister Six, please.
No.
No.
Sorry.
No.
No. Sinister Six didn't really come later, but the Sinister Six were made up Sinister Six were made up of all of the ones. The original Sinister Six, I should say, was made up of all the ones you guys have already mentioned: Doctor Octopus, Vulture, Electro, Sandman, Mysterio, and Kraven the Hunter. Yeah,
What's the group
Well,
you
they
were
didn't
you were
get
gonna
together
let me-
till later, and then it was all like Spider-Man Haters Club. It's like,
exactly.
you know who I hate?
What was
The
what
one
was
that-
the one you were
the
gonna
Teen
Spider-Man.
let me have? What was that?
The Enforcers. The Enforcers appeared in like issue 2 or 3, really, really early on. It was Montana, Ox, and Fancy Dan.
Fancy Dan?
See, that's the stuff I wouldn't remember. Fancy Dan.
That's
Let's see.
amazing.
They appeared in issue 10, I guess was the first appearance of those guys. They're almost like mobster hitmen. The Ox was the big strong guy. Fancy Dan was like agile and could bounce around. And I want to say Montana was just really good with a gun.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dang it! I never
So-
even heard of them.
So how early on was the Hobgoblin? Because was that close enough?
Not in the first 50. No, I think he was.
He
I
was
don't even
pretty-
know if he was in the
he was
first
early on.
100. Actually, let's see. Let me take a look here. Hobgoblin.
He was 80s, right? 80s. I want to say.
No, that was early
Um,
80s.
Let's
Hobgoblin?
see. 200 issue 238 was the first
Wow.
appearance of the Hobgoblin.
What year was that?
So, 1983.
Ah! It was the 80s.
Wow.
It was the 80s. Yeah.
Ha-ha.
Black Cat was
Oh,
issue
Black Cat.
194. The Jackal, Man Wolf, Hammerhead all came
was-
after issue 100.
Really?
Morbius was 101. So the ones you could have mentioned, the Chameleon,
Oh,
which
good one.
I'm hoping we see sometime soon in a Spider-Man film because I really like his deal. Lizard. How could you guys
Oh,
not
freaking
remember the
Lizard.
lizard?
Did we not listen? Oh, we
Nobody
listened to
said
Scorpion.
Lizard.
I thought,
I
oh, man.
forgot about Lizard.
That was an easy one.
Kurt
Damn it.
Connors. The Living Brain. Big Man.
Oh, yeah. Big
was
man.
another crime lord. Another
Wait a minute. Man.
New York City crime lord.
Big man. That's stupid.
Spencer Smythe and the Spider Slayers. I would have accepted either of those. Basically, they were a robot. Basically, it was like a robot. Oh, I skipped the Tinkerer, by the way. The Tinkerer,
Oh, the Tinkerer. That was great.
also, I think appeared in one of the Spider-Man movies in kind of a background role.
Did he cross over with the Fantastic Four, or am I thinking of someone else sometime?
No, you're thinking of the Puppet Master or the Tinkerer.
Hmm.
Maybe you're thinking of the Stinkerer.
The Stinkerer. That's who it was. It was the Stinkerer.
Mhm.
Yeah. Crime Master, Molten Man, the Looter. He really just waits until there's some excitement and then just steals TVs from a front window.
Right.
Robot Master, who later became Gaunt,
Gaunt.
a
Okay.
college teacher and partner of Norman Osborn, and that rounds out the 21 here on my list.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. I think we did okay, but
You guys did all right.
I feel bad that I'm on the losing end of this thing because now all the faith that you had in me there, Philip, has been dashed against the rocks. How do you feel? Are you feeling okay?
It happens.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the best part. You can always be back here trying again. And in fact, you
That's
can
right.
get us on the very next one because now we'll have a compounded prize package that will be this plus stuff the next time this comes around. So give it another shot on Wednesday, and we'll see if we can't fix the loss.
Remember,
Yeah.
Brian is Marvel, Scott is DC.
It's true.
That's
Well,
right. Both brands are Marvel.
you think
That's
that's the way to deal with that? Is that people should just know where my comic
If I
book-
was calling in and trying to guess who was going to get it, I would probably bet for me for Marvel Comics. And if you ask me about some DC stuff, if it ain't Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman, maybe some Aquaman, I probably ain't going to get it.
that's good to know. Actually, everybody listening out there,
I've read some JLA. That's about pretty much where I
chat
stand.
room says I should blame it on low T. What have I done?
Nah,
See,
you need another shot.
I've created a thing that will never go away. It's fantastic. Now that I think about it, maybe I should have gotten that shot in private. Anyway,
Is that a real thing, Scott? I mean, I know you got the low T shot, but is that a real thing? It seems like every time I read stuff, it's like controversial. It's like, oh yeah, you should totally get the low T shots, or other people
it's controversial only in certain circles, because if you have, there are some people that just want more testosterone so they can be more and more, I don't know, tough and buff and whatever.
Manly.
But if you go if you go to your doctor, any doctor, just regular doctor, it's not some clinic or anything, you go in there and you get a blood test, they'll come back, if they do a full workup, they'll come back with everything. So if your white count's too high or low, if your red, all the stuff you normally get. And one of those standard tests is testosterone levels or estrogen levels in women. And if they come back low, you can do one of a few things. You can just ignore it, or you can do something about it. That's all I'm doing. So this is actual hormone. This isn't steroids. This isn't some kind of weird whatever. It's hormone man juice. That,
okay, there's so many questions we don't have time for it. Like, where do they
answers
get it from? Right,
where's like 5 more questions?
Do they go to really manly men and pull out the testosterone there and put it into you? I have so many questions, but we just don't have time.
I don't know how they milk it, but I know that it's got. I mean, I really don't. I assume it's synthetic. I have no idea actually, but. It's it's like a legit therapy. I have a friend who has a tumor in his pituitary gland in his head, and it's a non-cancerous tumor, but it's non-growing, but it's just there, and he can't get rid of it because it's a very invasive brain surgery to get rid of it, and it would probably leave him, paralyzed or messed up or whatever. So they just kind of leave it there. But the side effect is it sits on his gland in such a way that he can't produce hardly any testosterone. And he was like depressed and getting fat without eating and just like having all these side effects of this tumor and didn't know it. They figured it out and they said, well, we're not doing the surgery, but we can replace your missing testosterone with these shots. And now he is just doing 1,000% better than he was doing before.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like he definitely would have a deficiency. So really the only thing I know about testosterone, low T, that kind of stuff is what I learned on King of the Hill. So that is as far as it goes.
Oh, right. Hank had it, didn't he?
Yeah, Hank. Well, remember Peggy was secretly pumping him full of testosterone, and he started going through second puberty.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I forgot about that.
Really? Oh, I don't remember that episode. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just a normal thing. People have it. I'm sure my doctor even said, he says, look, I have people come in here who are at a normal level and want to go to 1,000. And I'm like, why? And he goes, I don't know. They think they'll be tougher and cooler if they do.
I don't know, Scott. I don't know.
And he goes, I don't give those prescriptions. I'm not interested in that. But people who are low, they should get it. And I said, all right, well, give me the man juice right now. Oh yeah, he had a narrow urethra, didn't he? Hank did.
He did. Yeah, that was his whole thing.
All right.
Peggy. Anyway,
it was from all that riding on the lawnmower.
Yeah, that's what it was. Riding on that lawnmower.
Also had no butt. That was also an episode. That was a good one.
He's like me. I also have no butt.
Yeah.
Pants would just slide down or something.
I have no butt. Mine is gone. I have this little.
By the way,
butt.
Pops in recline. Looks like. Let's see. Has he found it? Oh, he's totally found it.
Is this the footage?
The footage of me at the bike video.
Oh, let's take a look. Here, hold on. Let's put it on the. I'm gonna put this up on where the chat can see it. Hold on, chat. For those who don't want to click the link, I will now put. Oh my gosh, browser. My browser crashed.
Browser.
Hold on, my browser crashed. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here's the screen. Here's the play button. I think I see Brian in the freeze shot there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can.
Hey, where are you here? Oh, come on, lady. She's talking now. All right, we got pink pantsuit. Okay. This is good for home listeners. Listeners love visuals.
Oh yeah, the pink
Long
pantsuit.
pauses.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put a link to it in the show notes or something. I don't know if you can do
we'll
that.
probably put it on Twitter or something. Where's the? I'm trying to find where you're riding.
So the shot of me, I will tell you, it is at about 1 minute and 1 minute and 19 seconds after Shayna Jordan after we see her I'd ride with MS.
Okay.
You'll see a shot of a bunch of cyclists coming
All right, I see it.
towards the
Okay.
screen.
It says ride with MS.
And then you'll see a bunch of cyclists.
There you are. Oh, I'm gonna go cap that out later. That's awesome.
Yeah. And to the left of me, by the way, also in the same green that I'm wearing is Uncle George with a white helmet.
Oh, okay. That's awesome, dude. Well done. You made the local news. The last time I did that, they called me Scott Peterson, who had murdered his wife.
Right.
Yeah. That was awesome. And you can't see the socks, though, in that shot. Very
Right
well.
after it, they show the socks.
Oh, what? Hold on.
So if you keep playing,
I'm still
you get
playing.
a shot of my socks.
All right, I'm still playing. Oh, yeah, there they go.
Yep.
All right, well done. You've done it. Dunaway, aren't you glad you were here for this episode?
So glad.
Yeah. I mean, how could you not be? Oh, this is for me. I got the question wrong, and I suck for it. Brian Dunaway is the Brian Dunaway on Twitter. He will now leave. Bye, Brian. All right, so now we got to take a break. No news today. That's just how it's going to be. I will mention this because I wanted to mention this. Teachers are awesome. We should help them more. Mrs. Novak chose to get into teaching in Louisiana. The state ranked 50th in education. That's right. They're always fighting back and forth with Mississippi. Right now, they're 50th. With no concern for education, there are also no funds for education. As such, please help Mrs. Novak raise funds for buying new tables, chairs, and such for her class by going to gofundme.com/Mrs. Novak, MRSNOVAK. Do it for the kids! All right, Brian, do it for the kids by playing a song. You got a song to play as our break?
I have a song, a band called Imperial Teen. You probably have heard of these guys. I'm sure people in the audience, a few people have heard of these guys because they've been around for over 20 years releasing albums, releasing music. They have a brand new album called Now We Are Timeless. It comes out a little over a week from now on the 12th of July. This is one of the first songs from that album. It's called I Think That's Everything. These guys are great, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. I totally dig these guys.
Nice. Well,
Here is I Think That's Everything by Imperial Teen.
We'll see you on the other side.
What about you?
I've got a black belt in karate. Come on, we gotta get out of the school.
Now do you understand?
Burn in hell, you little green bastard. This is the morning stream.
All right, we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program. Now enjoy some sweet Tom Merritt action.
Yes.
How could you not want that? Feels like a
I want that
requirement.
100%. I want some tech in my life.
Yeah, low T, low Tom. Get some Tom shots. That's what
That's right.
we want.
Getting a big 1.5 inch shot of Tom right
That's
now.
right. Getting the high T.
Right in the keister.
Right in the keister.
With the computer, as with any tool, the concept and direction must come from the man.
That man is Tom Merritt. You know him, you love him, and he's here on Wednesdays. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
How'd you know about my prog rock band, Sweet
Oh,
Tom Action?
Well, look, I knew about it, but I wasn't sure I should say anything, and it just sort of slipped out. I hope you forgive me for bringing
It's
it up.
mostly Yes covers, but you know, we're getting there.
Aren't all prog rock bands Yes cover bands to start with?
And The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. That's our
The
entire
answer is yes.
There you go. Tom comes on Wednesdays, talks about technology, what's happening in the tech news of the day as we prepare for the Daily Tech News Show a little bit later this afternoon. Tom, what is happening on the cusp of technology?
Well, I've just been writing up a story for the Daily Tech headlines today about Uber Eats dine-in option.
Oh, explain
Ooh,
this.
does this mean they bring your food to you and then you can sit in the Uber Eats guy's car and eat it?
No, it's even better than that.
Okay.
So Uber Eats, if anyone doesn't know, is a delivery service, right? You order the food from the restaurant, they bring it to you. It's built on the back of the same service that does the ride sharing, but it's a separate separate service. Although I think they have added it to the regular Uber app. There's also
if
Uber
you're a
Eats.
millennial, it's your favorite restaurant, by the way.
Right. I love to eat at Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now you can, because there has been a pickup option as well. If you're like, oh, I'm out and about, I can just drive by myself. I don't need someone to bring it to me. You could order ahead. Now you can order ahead to dine in. So you order, you get an estimated amount of time until the food is ready. In some cases, you can schedule, say like, oh, I want to dine in, I want to eat this, and I want to dine at 7:30, and it'll just it'll have your food ready when you walk into the restaurant.
Wow. Hold on a second though.
So
Why
guess
do I
if
need?
You just don't want to. If you don't want to interact with any wait staff whatsoever, but you still want to be served.
Right.
So why would I want?
I mean, I assume the wait staff's still going to bring you your food, right? So you'll interact with them then.
Yeah, and they
so,
still check on you, and you probably tip them and all that. But why do I need them as the middleman? I think that's throwing me off in my head. Like, why wouldn't I just call the restaurant and say, hey, can I come get a table? Why are they facilitating
I could see this as being, if you only have, let's say you work in an office or something, and you really only have an hour for lunch, and you know it's going to take you 20 minutes to get there and 20 minutes to get back. You could pre-order, have your food waiting, and still have that I'm sitting in a restaurant experience without basically having to get takeout, take it back to your desk, and eat while you listen to Frank and human resources yelling loudly on his phone.
Yeah, but to Scott's point, I mean, you could conceivably call the restaurant and do that, but restaurants aren't set up for that. Restaurants aren't set up for dine-in, go-ahead orders. But what a lot of restaurants are set up for is Uber Eats. They have the system that prints out the order, and then they make the order and update so that the thing is pushed out to the app like, oh, your food is being prepared, your food is ready, here's the estimated time until it's ready. And so what this does beyond just making a reservation is say, I don't have to go on the phone, have somebody write it down, get it wrong, not understand me because I was I couldn't see the menu. You just go in the app, you pick your food, you pay for it. It's already paid for. You can even add the tip. And then when you show up, you sit down and start eating. I think it's less about avoiding human interaction and more about what Brian was saying, just efficiency.
Yeah. And Sayurin in the chat room brings up an excellent point. If you've got young kids, this is probably like a boon, right? Like basically you figure out what they want, you order your food, you show up at the restaurant served, and don't have to worry about kids chewing up the furniture while they're waiting for their food.
Oh yeah, the worst part of kids in a restaurant is keeping them occupied till the food shows up, right? Because when the food shows up, now you've got something because they're like, oh, my food, great, you know.
Yeah.
But keeping them entertained in that wait period is half the battle. It feels like.
Yeah,
I
guess I could see it.
Yeah.
I guess what happens here is you're creating a standard solution that will fit many cases. Otherwise, restaurants would just do this themselves, right? Like if they.
Well, but that's true of delivery too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, what restaurants don't want to do is have to manage another thing. Restaurants are already hard enough to keep going and keep in business. So what Uber's providing here is we will handle this. We've already got the system built up, and especially if the restaurant's already on the Uber Eats delivery service, all the infrastructure is there. The only difference is instead of a guy from Uber coming and picking up the meal and it having to be packaged up, the meal is just put on plates and brought out to a table.
Yeah, that's
so. I mean, there's one. Obviously, the complexity now is that the restaurant has to reserve a table and make sure it's available for the time that's scheduled. But again, that's not a big deal compared to.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to handle that. That's really interesting. I imagine a lot of the restaurants that do this are ones that don't take reservations or don't usually have a problem with table seating. But the next step would be to add a reservations system in, right? I mean, if they're already doing this, you might as well handle that, because if you have a limited amount of seating, you might not want to participate in this, to be honest, unless there was a reservation system.
The next step is that the Uber guy comes to your house, picks you up, drives you to the restaurant, orders for you, and then sits there and watches you while you eat, and then drives you home.
Yeah, I like that.
That's the weird thing about this is it's not integrated to the Uber ride service. I mean, obviously you can go over and pick your Uber ride too, but they haven't connected the two. And they told TechCrunch like that, that's certainly something that makes sense, but we're not planning on doing that right now.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's I wouldn't have thought of this. Like, I guess that's the point, or one of the things that Uber has going for them is that they think of this use case, and then the rest of us go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense to me. I would have never
Well,
thought
they're
this
not the
was-
first ones to do this. There's been an app called AllSet out there that's been doing this for a long time. I think Uber's advantage is they have this service already set up with restaurants for delivery, so they can just kind of flick a switch and start this up.
Yeah, I think one of us should use it and then talk about it.
Well, it is available in Austin, Dallas, Phoenix, and San Diego right now. So TVZ gone.
Brushwood.
Brushwood, yeah.
Yeah, Brushwood could do it. Why not?
Adam Christensen.
Yeah, Adam, he's out there. He knows what's up.
Oh yeah, right, San Diego. Sure.
Yeah, I'm all for this. I think it sounds awesome. Somebody needs to try
Does
it out
not
and tell
feel
us on the
very
show.
modern rogue, does it? The modern rogue is going to pre-order his meal.
I'm going to hack the system.
Yeah.
By
here's what
ordering
you're
ahead.
Yeah.
You're going to pre-order your food, and then you're going to show up and you're going to set it on fire.
With thermopaste.
It's not a...
I think this is interesting. As I don't think this is, maybe this is the reason AllSet has not taken off and none of us have heard of it before, is that this isn't a big enough demand on its own to be a thing. But added to Uber Eats, yeah, possibly. It depends on how many restaurants are available, and it's ones that I eat at. Yeah.
Plus, you're always looking for value adds for your services. This feels like one of those. So, same way you would add some new service to your cars or whatever. I swear, though, Uber's gonna just eventually we're gonna associate them with all of our like services needs. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's really smart of Uber to do that, to not just be a ride-sharing company.
yeah,
The more I think about this, the more I want it here, because there's so many times that Tina and I are going to a movie and we know we don't have time to go to the restaurant, wait for a table, sit down, order our food, wait for the food to arrive, eat it, pay, and then get to our movie. It would be great to like eliminate 2/3 of that and just get to the thing. Our table's waiting, our food comes out a minute later, and that way we don't have to scarf down Smash Burger or something right before.
Oh, that sounds good though. Smash Burger sounds
Oh, I
really
found,
good.
by the way, when I was lifting yesterday, I saw, and I wish I would have pulled over to take a photo of it because I drove by it without a passenger on the way back. There was a strip mall where there was a GameStop right next to a Smash Burger.
Oh my
and their
gosh.
logos right next to each other in red and white impact font.
You should
It
have
just
got a
looked like-
picture. That's amazing.
Next time I go up to Longmont, I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to come up with a funny caption.
We
like,
have a restaurant here called Sushi Stop that has this same
thing,
logo
same
too,
red
yeah.
and white impact.
Yeah.
Wow.
They should all open up right next to each other. Also,
they're even worse because they use the stop. Like they said, we'll just take GameStop, replace
right?
the word game with sushi, and keep it alive.
my guess is they were called Sushi Stop earlier, and then like, oh, we could just rip off their logo. That's really good. It's got stop in it already.
Yeah, it's not bad.
My brother-in-law, Sean Hollister, works for The Verge. When we were out to eat this weekend, took a picture of a Toys R Us that was closed right next to a restaurant we were eating at, and the signs for the doors were all down except for exit only,
Oh,
which was so poetic.
wow. That's
Kind of sad.
very sad. That makes me sad to hear that. Do you ever wonder why Lyft hasn't expanded out more? Because they've just really hunkered down on the ride sharing thing and haven't done much else, or have I just missed it?
Well, no, they're doing other forms of transportation. They're also kind of involved in an ancillary way in partnering with automotive companies on autonomous cars and fleets. So they're branching out within the vertical of transportation. They're not widening out the way Uber is into delivery and things like that. It's just a different strategy. It's more of an enterprise strategy than a consumer-oriented strategy, it seems like.
Yeah, that's true. I was always curious. You see Uber expanding out into freight and food stuff, and now this, and Lyft just sort of is. We're just sort of we're picking you up.
Dice
dropping you
Tomato.
off.
Dice
That's
Tomato beat me
because
to it.
you don't hear the things Lyft is doing. Doesn't mean they're not doing it.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It's just not as.
Dice Tomato
forward-facing.
beat me to it. I was actually in Google Maps trying to get down to the visual search so that I could to find it. But basically, he found it and
Oh, yeah,
has
there
the
it is.
shot of the front of it. Yeah.
Game, stop, smash, burger, smash, stop, game.
That's fantastic. That font is so overused for those two companies.
And a Papa Murphy's.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, all right then.
When you said you were lifting I thought you meant you were like working out.
Working out, getting swole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time Brian says I did lifting
know.
yesterday, and I think, what? Oh yeah, right. He's driving somebody. Got it.
I should say lifting with a Y or lifting. I'm lifting. I should tell passengers that that's the correct pronunciation. Oh, by the way, did you know it's not pronounced lift? It's called life.
Life.
Because it helps your life.
Yeah. We're lifting your life.
Boom, you've been lifed.
Yeah.
Do you even lift, bro? Says TVZ Gun.
Well, later
No,
today, that's 2:30 today, Mountain Time, we'll be doing more of this tech discussion about this and other stories.
Mhm.
I do look forward to it. As always, Tom, I'd like to give you a chance to mention anything else you got going on. Anything you'd like to mention?
Yeah, man, I'm having a lot of fun hanging out on my newsletter, talking to people, because when I send my newsletter to you, you can email back and make comments, ask questions, whatever you want to do. There's also the best way to keep up with all of the short writing that I'm doing on my Patreon and elsewhere. So freetomnewsletter.com is the place to go to subscribe or even just sample. You just want to look at some of the newsletters, you can do that there too.
Highly recommended. Tom
Thank
Merritt,
you.
everybody. Ace Detect on Twitter. Have a fantastic day. Bye.
Bye. By the way, War Crusher has kind of pinpointed the weird dichotomy of everything by pointing out that I'm lifting and you're doing shots.
Yeah.
It seems like like our roles have flip-flopped over the years,
Yep.
Scott.
Doing shots. Brian's lifting. What the hell is going on? That's pretty awesome. Nice
Well
job,
done,
War
War
Crusher.
Crusher. Well
War
done,
Crusher.
sir.
Guy's been around the community for a long time.
He really has.
He deserves
And,
a.
almost had ramen with me in Denver once, but
Oh.
consumed too many of the delicious edibles that we have here.
They threw him a little
Couldn't
for
do
a
it,
loop
couldn't
there.
make it out.
Well, that'll happen. You're only supposed to eat the heads. You got to try the head first of the gummy bear, and then slow your roll. Don't eat the whole bear. Is all we're saying.
That's right.
All right, Nicole, incoming. Nicole.
Incoming, Nicole.
Incoming,
Beep,
Nicole.
Blop, bork, bleep, bloop.
Bleep, blop, bloop. She'll come in here. We will have some fun, and we'll start it with this. All right, it's Nicole Spagnuolo, all the way also from Denver area, aroundish, Colorado. Hello, Nicole, and welcome to the show. How are you?
Is this a different setup this week?
Uh,
I thought we did something different last week. Am I?
I don't know. What do you mean, different
Whatever.
setup? Different.
You can hear me. I can hear you. We're good.
Oh, setup wise.
Oh, yeah, we used a different app for you to call in last week.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're back to Discord.
We're back to this
Okay.
for now. We're working through some stuff, but you're the first person who's noticed, so well done, I guess. You're very attentive. All right. Well, it's good to have you here. How the heck are you?
I'm good.
That's-
Well, I'm not really good.
Oh.
But you know,
Aw.
I think I have allergies now. When I'm having problems with my ears and forehead, and I think I have
Oh,
allergies.
maybe you need to do what Dunaway did and have another. Have you ever had a grid done, like a grid test?
No.
You should do that. Go
What
in
is-
and
what
ask
is
your
that?
doctor for it.
Oh,
So
they
they
poke you in the back with a grid of about 24 needles all at once, each with a different substance
That
in
does
them,
not sound
and they
fun.
see. Well, but then they see which ones turn red, and it's just a little prick, Nicole. A bunch of little pricks.
I'm used to little pricks.
Yeah. Mark.
No. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I meant like online. Yeah.
Oh, that's on the internet now,
That's
Nicole.
terrible. That's terrible.
Somebody
No,
somebody
not
cap
at
that.
all.
I'm
Well,
gonna cap
we know that wood can only whisper.
it. Yeah, no kidding.
That's not what I meant.
I'm gonna text Mark and
Remember,
tell
it's
him
on
what
the
you said.
internet now. No, anyway, but they see which ones flare up, and then they can say, oh, okay, you've got grasses. Brian Dunaway found out, surprisingly, that he's allergic to like cedar, oak, and cats.
Yeah, you can get all that through
So
these
he
needles.
has to get rid of his wooden cat, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
His cedar cat.
His cedar cat. God, would it be horrible if you found out you were allergic to all forms of wood?
Yeah.
Oh.
That would
no,
suck.
I think it's just pollen and stuff in the air. So
Yeah, and they test for that too.
might-
They'll tell you which pollen you're allergic to. So they'll say, "Oh, yours is a sagebrush deal or whatever."
Yeah.
I don't know what it does
Hey,
for
there's
you.
Dougie.
I guess you can.
Oh, Dougie.
Oh, Dougie. They can give you like certain meds, I guess, to help combat it.
Yeah.
But,
Well, so it's an inner ear thing that's going on that's not going away, and my doctor wanted to put me on an antibiotic, and I'm so afraid of antibiotics now. So thankfully, Brian, you introduced me to our good friend Dr. Jerry, from
Oh
America's.
yeah, Jerry Tolbert.
And
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
Jerry, talk me down off the ledge. Please just talk me down off the ledge.
Oh yeah, Jerry could have.
Oh my God, he totally helped me. And so I'm just taking Allegra right now. And it actually is I feel better. So Jerry, you're the man.
Yeah, Jerry's
Dougie,
great.
shut the hell up.
I was gonna say, how many seconds until Nicole yells at Dougie?
Hold on.
Any second now. Oh, she's going. She's going after him. Yep,
That's
door's
funny.
shut,
If it
dog's
is-
out.
If it isn't a brother, a child,
dog.
or a Mark, it's a dog.
Yeah.
Speaking of little pricks, that little dog.
All right. Well, it's. I'm glad to have you here, salty and all, for our this edition of Recommendals today, which we do every Wednesday. We talk about stuff we've seen on streaming services. We recommend them for you, the fine home listener. And we're going to start today with Brian's clip. Brian, do you have any setup for today's clip?
No, I think you're not gonna know it for a few seconds, and then you're gonna know it because it says something a big giveaway, in the text. This is from 2017 though, so for once I'm not picking something from this year.
All right, fair enough. Here it is, 2017. Here it goes.
Sam is a man who struggled.
Who wants to hire a bitter, angry actor who's blaming everybody else?
And I just got up in his face. I said, stop it. Stop it.
You know, all the tabloids are coming out, saying, oh, where's Flash Gordon been?
And we had little kids, and I said, you've got to do something else.
Our weapons are usually concealed.
It's harder for them to go and explore other characters because everybody just wants what they love.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, you got to separate your personal life from your movie life. I don't know how you do that.
I have no idea except for the reference
It
to
sounds
Flash
like
Gordon.
little Anakin's going to be in this. Is it a documentary about people that are stuck in roles that they're
No,
iconic for?
it's a very specific documentary about Sam J. Jones, who played Flash Gordon in the 1980 Dino De Laurentiis film, and specifically what his life has been after Flash. The film is called Life After Flash.
I love this sort of thing. Where is this playing? I will watch this.
It is streaming on Amazon Prime, and it's great. It's got interviews. Like, basically, it follows Sam around through some Comic-Con appearances, and it interviews Melody Anderson, who played Dale Arden, Brian Blessed. Brian Blessed, by the way, is amazing to listen to. Like, the dude can tell a story, and he is Voltan in real life, basically.
He is a international treasure, that guy. He's amazing.
He is.
Yeah.
Chaim Topol is in this. Peter Wingard, who played Clytus. Richard O'Brien, who I'd forgotten was in Flash Gordon, but he's also Riff Raff in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Deep Roy is interviewed. Brian May of the band Queen is interviewed. It's really, really, really good. And
The reviews are kind of
mixed.
It's totally mixed. It's like 1 star, 5 stars, 2 stars.
Well, it's
5
mostly, if you look at the groupings, it's mostly 5 stars, but there's some
Yeah.
controversy toward the bottom end of this thing. There's a number of people who are like, it's just about his ego or whatever. I mean, what's your take on that, Brian? Did you feel like that?
It kind of is. I mean, he does have a very strong personality, and you can see why he was both perfect for the role and why he and Dino De Laurentiis famously didn't get along. I found out because of this that he was around for all the original reshoots or all the original shoots, but when it came time to do overdubbing, about half the movie is not Sam Jones talking.
Oh.
And now I want to go back and watch it and listen for the parts that aren't him talking. But you get a lot of background stuff about the movie. A lot of background stories about the different actors, not just Sam Jones. But you watch him at Comic-Con, and he is so amazingly good to the people who come to see him at those things. He's maybe a little stricter with the people who work for Comic-Con when they don't have the table set up just right and things like that. But he's a very strong, determined person. And after watching this, I do have a newfound respect for him. And
interesting.
Apparently Seth MacFarlane has been very vocal about wanting to do he used him for Ted, but there's been this talk about Seth MacFarlane doing a new Flash Gordon movie with Sam Jones, and or at least rebooting the franchise and somehow integrating Sam Jones into it. But I don't know how you do that with him being whatever he is right now, 64 or 65 or something.
Yeah, he's pretty old.
But
he was in something back in 07. Hold on, let me look this up.
he was in both Ted movies.
Right, but he's in tons of stuff, but there's another Flash Gordon thing he was in, and I'm trying to find what it is
really?
here. Here it is. The Flash Gordon TV series in 2007, he played somebody named Kreb, so obviously he's not playing Flash, but I didn't even know there was a Flash Gordon
I didn't
TV
know there was a
series.
Flash Gordon TV series.
That's news to me. Yeah, it looks like that was a short-lived series where he was a regular as somebody else. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
I
it's
still
absolutely.
would like to watch the documentary I was talking about.
Oh, the one where little kids.
Well,
yeah.
no, like what happens to people that can't, like Will Wheaton,
right.
he even still says, don't say shut up Wesley or whatever. So when as an actor you get locked into those, how do you break out of?
Well, it's
or
fun
do you
because
just embrace it.
they talk a lot about that too. Like Brian Blessed, every Comic-Con or every day at Comic-Con, somebody comes up to Brian Blessed and says, "Hey, say Gordon's alive," and he has to say it, and they talk about either shying from that or embracing it. And he also talks about how you can look at all these situations of actors who fall into drugs and despair and alcohol and he says, you can blame that a little bit on Hollywood, but that is so much just the person themselves being who they are, and you can't blame it all on Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating to hear him talk about this.
Brian Blessed is, he's a famous British actor who does a billion things.
He is.
And I love him, and I'll watch that for that. But here's the funny thing. I have a clip of Terpster doing a Flash Gordon, Brian Blessed, Gordon's Alive line, if you'd like to hear it. It's only 2 seconds.
I'd
here.
love to hear that.
So this is him doing Blessed saying that line.
Gordon's alive!
There you go.
He does it just as well as Brian Blessed.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Peter Wingard, the guy who played Clytus, he is a fascinating person to listen to. Really, really interesting, his takes. And he's like this, Peter Wingard was a super handsome actor, and then they stick him behind this Clytus mask and make his eyes bug out when he lands on the spinning wheel of spikes.
Nice. Oh yeah, that scene. Who got their eyes bulged out or squeezed out like jelly?
That was him.
Was that him? Okay.
Yeah, that was Brian Blessed. That was Peter Wingard. Yeah, that was Clytus.
Yep, that's right. That's a scene I'll never forget for some reason.
Yeah,
Burned into my
passed away
mind.
last year.
Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
pour one out for Wingard. All right, here's mine. Let's play a clip. This is the only hint I will give is it's a Hulu joint. And an original, I believe. But here you go. Also a documentary, funny enough. Here you go.
Okay, plug it in again. What's her name? Alexis? Wait a minute. Is her name Alexa? Alexa? Alexa, am I going to get a boyfriend?
Sorry,
Goo-goo.
I don't know that.
I don't know either. I'd unplug her. If she doesn't know that, what good is she?
All right.
Well, that certainly sounds like Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Yeah,
It is. It's a movie called Ask Dr. Ruth. It's a documentary. It is available on Hulu. It's an original, and it basically is the story of her, or her telling a lot of stories about when she escaped the Holocaust. Her parents were killed in. She was able to get out of there due to some last-minute sacrificing with her family.
Due to Alexa, wasn't it? Didn't Alexa get her out?
Yeah. Somebody named Alexa. Now, cancel.
Oops. Oh,
it's all right. I said it. It's my fault.
Oh, I said it too. It didn't hear. It heard me, not you.
Well, you're on my headphones, so I don't think it heard me. But anyway, what was my point? Oh, so they go through that stuff, talk a lot about her childhood. They talk about her rise to fame in the 80s, where that all came from.
Where did that come? Because it seems so like not possible
Yeah.
for this little
This
woman
little tiny woman.
to
What?
be such an iconic figure in the 80s.
Yeah,
which she is. And, I mean,
and she still is in a lot of ways. She still publishes books. She's like 92 or something. Like she's old, but she keeps making stuff, keeps going on appearances, keeps doing stuff even at this age. Still runs around all the time, doesn't need anybody's help. She's freaking tough little broad. She's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Anyway,
I used to listen to her radio show in the 80s. I'm not ashamed to admit it that, that I listened to it. I actually, somewhere there's a cassette tape where I made I try to make my own little not rap mix, but isolating words and like making them repeat like masturbation, 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 basically that sort of thing. Somewhere there's a cassette, like 12-year-old mind thought that was really
pretty funny.
Be really funny.
I think it's funny now. You should find that. But anyway,
she was on MTV.
Yeah.
Grabbed her and put her on a lot of stuff. I remember.
Yeah, she was all over the place. She'd do everything from that to Oprah to all the popular stuff at the time.
Sam Beckett leapt, as J.K. Grammer reminds us. Sam Beckett leapt into Dr. Ruth for an episode of Quantum Leap.
Oh yeah, they talked about that and they showed clips of that too. She was in a bunch of little bit parts in movies and stuff. But they cover all of it. And what's great about it is her rise to that fame was really hard earned. Like she was a true expert in her field. She was also super forward thinking in that field. Nobody had done anything like this before. Her radio show was a total gamble. Like the people deciding to put it on, NBC agreeing to even do it, a miracle it even happened. But because of that, it ended up bolstering her career and all the TV stuff happened. And anyway, she's the most delightful old lady you'll ever watch. She was so funny and sweet and just kind to everybody. I had the nicest experience with this movie. So I would highly recommend it. It's very good.
She doesn't remind you of your mom though, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And she's like so little.
Sometimes we get that, and I just want to make sure.
No, not at all. She is exactly what you think she is, just older. She still laughs all the time. Like there's no stopping that little ball of energy, and you learn a lot about why she has that. The stuff she went through as a kid is just harrowing and insane. You hear from her kids now and what they think about her mom, and she still lives in this tiny apartment in Brooklyn, and she never went to her head, all the money and stuff and the fame. She just stayed there because she liked it. She talks about her faith, the Jewish faith, and all this stuff. It's very good. I recommend it very highly, and you'll walk away just wishing she was your grandma, your own 4-foot grandma, because she was just awesome.
Who gives you advice on sex?
Yeah, it gives you all kinds of sex advice for free.
Sure.
Ask Dr. Ruth is the name of that thing, and it's very good.
Very cool.
Nicole, what do you got for us?
All right. So this week is a little light for me because I didn't get to watch too much, but as a result, I always watch something because my kids always have something on the TV, and I inadvertently watch what they're watching. I will say this: YouTube Kids app has gotten a lot better, and I'm able to pick exactly the channels that I can let them watch now. My kids are obsessed with this kid named Ryan. And if you're a parent and you know who Ryan is, you feel my pain.
Oh no. Okay. What does Ryan What does Ryan do?
They toy reviews, and he has his own show on Nickelodeon now.
Oh, Ryan's toy review. I've seen this too.
This kid, it is amazing. Both of my kids are obsessed with Ryan. And they're like, Ryan. And I was sitting at the table today, and I looked at Mark, and I'm like, if companies like Cartoon Network are not seeing this, they are doomed because it is. I mean, all this kid is doing is playing with his parents. That's all he's doing. And it's like, it's not even high tech or anything. But I was watching a video on YouTube about this family. They employ 25 people to run this channel.
Dude, they have 19 million followers and probably $4 or $5 million in annual revenue. I'm sure they're doing just fine.
And Mark and I were talking about it, how just bananas and how the industry has just shifted underneath television's feet, I feel like. And I unfortunately think that this age of content is going to bring out stories 20 years from now, like the child actors of the 80s, where, I'm not saying this is going to happen with Ryan, but the kids, the families that want to get to the Ryan level, you've seen stuff come up and, like the pranking, and they're horrible to their kids. And there's been all this YouTube, like, there's a whole like pedophile ring.
Well,
That
you
guy,
wonder
and
if he gets to be a kid, like if he gets
Yeah.
to, if they're so focused on his career and in YouTube, if he actually, no, I know you want to go play with your friends, but we really need to get this shot right. So you're going to do it until.
well, like for some of these kids, like they'll make a video just watching their subscriber count roll to 100,000, and I'm like, what is this?
Well, you think about the world we're in. I did a video yesterday of me getting a shot in my butt. So,
Yeah.
welcome to the world of everyone's got a camera and you can stream anything you want these days. Like, it doesn't
yeah.
shock me that much. I don't think it's going to be stories in 20 years. I think it's just the way it is now. Like, this is just going to be, we're not going to all sit around going, remember that kid, Brian? Boy, he's here. I heard he held up a gas station the other day and shot 5 people. I mean, maybe that'll happen, but I think it'll be just more that this is the way it is, and every day it's stories like this, and it's huge and loud and hard to.
But you don't think there's going to be some kind of like child labor laws that come into play here?
Maybe.
Like,
I mean, those laws already exist, so if they're not adhering to them for what this is, which is a business, if they're not adhering to them, then they would have to be accountable to that in the same way that some Hollywood kid or anyone else would be. So the rules aren't any different.
But even so, getting him this focused on the number of views and the number of likes, I don't feel like is a healthy thing.
It's not a healthy thing. Like, I don't mind the playing videos. I don't mind. But when a kid is obsessing about, like, I'm watching this kid go, oh, I lost 2. Oh, I gained 4. What the?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's here nor there. I will say that Ryan's family is trying to kind of pull him out of the videos. Like, they're doing other things. So, like, they have this little character named Gus. And so Gus is a little alligator, and they're allowing him to kind of not be in the videos more by trying.
Oh my God. The poor kid is, first he's getting to be in all these videos. Now they're looking at a mid-season replacement. He's going to be the next Darren for Bewitched. I think that's a new Ryan.
It's just weird. And like, he has a whole toy line, and like one of the videos they went to, like, I don't know, a fast food place that had his toys, and like they played a game where they were waiting to see if anybody recognized him. And it's a different world. And if you're a parent in this world, I feel you. It's such new territory. But yeah, I try to keep pushing my kids to Netflix and Hulu. Like, let's watch Cartoon Network. Let's just watch some good old cartoons.
Yeah, but in those cases, it's only because you're long-term familiar with those properties or that kind of television. And so in your head, you're thinking,
those properties.
Right, you trust them. But as far as you know, there's entire groups of shows that they're not, the kids aren't being compensated, or their parents' contract does suck, or the kids are being treated poorly on set. Like, we don't know. We have no idea. So to me, it's not any different. It's just the main difference is you can be like Ryan and start from scratch, and suddenly you've got 19 million followers a couple of years later, versus you had to jump through all the hoops of getting, noticed or go through auditions or whatever to get your place established on a more traditional thing. But at the end of the day, it's still a lot of shitty adults making choices for kids.
I just don't want to turn on the TV in 10 years and see the true Hollywood story, Ryan's toy review.
That's what we're gonna see, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
We might. We very well might. Here's the thing, though, that it's also so nichey, though. So, like, even though I'd never even heard of this kid, obviously, because I'm not in the market for it, and neither are my kids. It's like hearing about that. Who's the makeup guy that's in all the controversy now?
Oh yes. Oh God.
Makeup YouTube.
I'm like,
whatever his
why
name
am I
is.
even reading about this? I don't care.
All right. So I think it'll be a more niche controversy. There's this girl. Yesterday I did a tweet about her. I'd never heard of her before.
I saw her. I saw her, the bathwater girl.
Yeah, she's selling her bathwater. Well, apparently
Yes.
she's making like just in Patreon alone, she makes 150 grand a month per month. And you know what she does? Sits around looking half naked and slinky all day with funny faces and being an anime girl. It's a world I don't understand. So if there's ever any controversy, it'll be like a niche one. It'll happen within that community. The Ryan thing will happen within the community of people who cared about YouTube kids shows. Like it'll be this weird fragmentation. It won't be the nightly news carrying the big controversy. It won't be like that, which is interesting in its own way.
But you did hear about them turning off the comments of all children programming on YouTube, right?
I did hear about that, yeah.
Oh, really?
They had to do, and they did it because what was happening, pervy people going into the comments, time stamping when there's like a place that the kid is not intending to be like in a compromising situation, but like just crappy.
Oh, geez. So other pedophiles can find it.
Yeah.
basically?
It was like secret code.
For this,
it was
look
like
for this
an
moment right here.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have to point it
YouTube
out. They would actually just do it as code. So you wouldn't say, "Hey, you guys, check out this scene at 1.5
They just
minutes."
timestamp it.
Yeah, they just timestamp it, and then they would know to go look at the timestamp. And there's the shot where if you pause it just right, that kid's coming off a slide, and you can see his underwear.
Yeah.
Like, what a bunch of freaks, dude!
Yeah.
Gross.
So, but that's how does YouTube police that? And they just shut it down. And like all of the parent bloggers are up in arms. I'm like, YouTube did you a favor. Comments are horrible.
Yeah, they're bad. They're bad. Nothing good comes out of those comments, especially in like a kids network of stuff. What is the point?
Yes.
There's no point to those comments. Zero. Zippo. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
In fact, I wish they were off by default all across the board, and people would have to enable them because I hate them.
And going back to my whole YouTube Kids app, I like that app now. When it first came out, I trashed it. I took it off. I actually like it because it gives me control. They actually have some collections. So like the Gina Davis Foundation, they have channels that they have vetted. Sesame Street has channels they have vetted. So you can look through their collections of channels and said, okay, I like that group of channels, or I can look for channels that have been vetted versus that random and turn off searching, that random algorithm that would happen that would take you down a crazy path to where you're watching the duck song and
the duck song? How does the duck song compare to the baby shark?
And the duck walk out, da, 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 and I thinking in my hand, hey, got any grapes? And he goes, got any grapes?
Wow.
And he's selling lemonade. So anyway, it's this repetitive song. But there's a version of it where the duck gets shot.
Is
my
this the song?
son actually got put it. He goes, what? I was like, oh God. So I had to quickly stop it. And
tell me the duck story.
Is this the duck song?
Yes.
A duck walked up to a lemonade stand and he said to the man, run in the stand. Hey, bum, bum, bum. Got any grapes?
Oh my gosh. 392,900
There you
something
go.
thousand views.
And I know it's a spoiler, but I want to know it anyway. The duck gets shot at the end of this?
No, that is the spoof version.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
This is an innocent little song that the kids love.
But somebody made a spoof.
Somebody made a spoof of it, and and then there's another version where I think he goes in for maybe chapstick. I don't know.
See, that's the other thing. It's remix culture.
Just put it on my bill.
It's a remix culture thing, right? Like we live in a time where somebody can take that, remix it, and the duck gets shot in the head at the end. But the little kid who's been surfing around doesn't know that until he gets there, right?
Right.
So that stuff's hard to manage. Because I get
Which
it.
is why, again, that's why I like the YouTube Kids app with the specific channel features, not letting them search, really kind of focusing it in. So there you go.
kind of rubs me.
I didn't mean
weird.
to go down this tangent. I was going to give you this clip.
I know. I was going to ask you, is this your recommendal?
My recommendal is the YouTube Kids app.
Okay, good.
If you're doing channel selection. But this is the show on Netflix that my son is absolutely obsessed with. And it's horrible, but awesome all at the same time.
All right, I'm going to hit play. Here we go.
Oh, it's a bad situation here. Do I go up and face the mountain lion, or do I take my chances with the abyss? My adventure is up to you.
Oh, I know what this is. This is that Bear Grylls choose your own adventure or make a
really?
decision thing. Yeah.
So this is you versus Wild. It is a choose your own adventure. You got this guy, and he, like he said, do I go up or do I go down? Do I eat the mushroom? Do I not eat the mushroom?
It's bear snatch.
Yeah.
It's exactly, and it's hilarious to watch my son torture this man because he makes him eat the mushroom and then he gets diarrhea, and like it's hilarious.
So Bear Grylls is known for this. Obviously, he used to do that Discovery show, Man versus Wild or whatever it was, and that's why this is You versus Wild. So he's already kind of this guy. But what's cracks me up about this is it's got a video game quality to it, like a choice making quality.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, he had to film both options.
Exactly.
Right? He had to eat the mushroom and get the shits, or the other scenario where he didn't eat the mushroom and instead he fell down the cliff or whatever. Like, he has to do it either way. And it's so weird to me that that's compelling. I get it for kids, but for me, I wouldn't be able to do this.
No, it's great for kids because what Mateo will do is he'll choose the thing and then he'll see it play out and then he'll rewind it to see what the other one plays out. So like he's interacting with it. He's engaged with the content. And that's what they want, you know? So
Chat room says, War Crusher says, I like Bear Grylls other than the fact he named one of his own kids Marmaduke. Really? Marmaduke Grills? Really?
Marmaduke.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh! Although also, Brian, nice Bandersnatch joke earlier. I didn't want that to go by without.
Thanks.
That was very good.
Sometimes I just like hearing from somebody on Twitter saying, "I think they missed it, but I love that joke."
Yeah, it happens. Well, all right. I mean, look, you could recommend worse things, but you put another link in here. Should I click this one?
I did. I do. Here's another really bad show that Netflix has just come out with.
Nicole's bag of recommendals. All right, hold on. I'm going to hit this one. Here we go.
These contestants have been up for 24
Oh.
hours. They'll push their tired minds and bodies to the limit and beyond in a series of mental and physical challenges geared to test the ultra tired.
Wait, it's just to test tired people?
I almost watched this last night because
You would probably like it. It's an
I probably
interesting
would.
little game show. Mateo really enjoys it. You basically, the game show is called Awake, the $1 Million Game Show, and they make the contestants stay up for 24 hours and count money. And after the 24 hours, they have to come out and do all these physical challenges, and they slowly eliminate the contestants. And at the very end, they have to guess how much money they counted in those 24 hours. And they have to, like, one guy, he gave up $130,000 to go for the million, but you have to, I think, be like 20 cents
with that accuracy,
within the accuracy to get the million. And I'm like, I couldn't even do that if I
just woken up. Yeah.
Take the 130,000, you dummy.
Wow.
So is this a blecha-mental or is this still a recommendal?
I
Like,
mean,
do you think?
it's a good. I mean, I think it's interesting that Netflix is getting into the game show game.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you're seeing. I mean,
The fact that you're
shows
seeing
like-
them is a sign that they are getting, that they know that people watch this because they've got data. That's how Netflix works.
Well, they had that Nailed It, right? That was kind of like a competition thing.
Mhm. That's still on.
So they've
I
dipped
think they
their
still
toe
do
in the
seasons.
water. Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
That show
All right.
does really well. So this is I feel like this is more in the line or in the vein of like Deal or No Deal. It kind of feels like those shows. You're seeing
Fear Factor, that sort
what's
of
the
thing.
big wheel? Is it called the wheel where they spin
Oh,
a
the
wheel?
Dax Shepard one.
Oh
Yeah, I
my
watched one
God.
episode of that dumb thing. It's like, answer these. Go away, I'm baiting. Answer these questions about trivia things and maybe win money. And there's 3 questions or 4 questions throughout the whole thing. It's all, like it's supposed to be trivia. And you get like the tiniest little handful of questions. Basically, it's that Chris Hardwick thing with a wheel instead of a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Biggest
And,
downfall. I was just telling the chat room my biggest downfall to all of these, and the reason I would probably not like the wheel or even maybe one of these. Like I had a hard time with Flinch. Flinch sounds like one I'd want to watch. Guy with a head inside of a bowl full of spiders. Is he gonna flinch? Like that's cool. That's a great idea. But they edit these like all reality show and game shows get edited. I hate that editing. I hate it.
Because you know it's
they have
boring.
to. Well,
It's
they have
so
to edit it to
boring.
make it
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, there's it's the nature. It's the nature of the game, and unfortunately, it's the only way to do it to make it.
I don't know. I don't know if I
interesting to a
agree because
wide
I can.
audience.
I don't know if I agree. I can watch the Drew Carey host the freaking Price is Right, and I can watch the Price is Right at its own pace and get Price is Right moments without a bunch of fake editing where it zooms into people's faces and we get a lot of dun dun dun. Like I don't need all that. Just have a game show, have a good competition, and don't edit yourselves into oblivion. It's a certain kind of editing that I'm.
Have you
talking
watched
about.
the Mental Warrior or Ninja? What the heck is it?
Mental
Well,
Ninja
there's
Warrior.
American Ninja Warrior.
It's with Rob
the one with
Lowe.
Rob Lowe. Yes.
And the computer Ava.
Yeah, can I tell you how much that one drives me nuts? Because we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and you have to answer these 12 questions while the James Bond torture device from Moonraker moves you around all these walls. And they waste so much damn time between questions with the whole like, and then put you in front. No wonder you can't answer all those questions in 5 minutes. It's not because Mental Samurai. It's not because of the questions are tough. It's not because you're dizzy from this machine. It's because they waste so much damn time with the machine moving you around from question to question.
I would love to know if that machine ever breaks down.
Oh God, I'm sure that'd be great. Like see outtakes from that thing where it's just like somebody dangling face down, holding onto their straps, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I find I'm excited about more game shows. I like a good game show. I just don't feel like anybody's making a traditional game show like that. What's the one with Snoop Dogg? Joker's Wild. Yeah, I love the idea of Joker's
Wild. They missed out on an opportunity not calling it the Toker's Wild. I don't know what they were thinking.
100% agree. But also that show's using the same editing I'm talking about, and I hate it. Like just pace it well in live. And if it doesn't work out every time, that's okay. Like I don't like how I guess it's too packaged.
It's the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Exactly. Yeah, it's your prime time editing versus your daytime. That's why your Drew Carey is just basically like, we're gonna leave the cameras going and make the cliffhanger dude walk up the mountain yodeling. But with the nighttime one, they've got to basically say, all right, we need to inject drama into the game show. We can't just have it people coming up on stage and guessing prizes or spinning a wheel. It's got to be, all right, well, before we get to the next question, tell us about your kids. Oh yeah, we've actually got them backstage and they're strapped to this wall. And if you get the $1 million, then you have to sell one of them.
Now that you say that, there is a good one. The Ellen's Game of Games is actually a fun one.
Oh yeah, it's good if you like watching people who look like they've been injected with 18 cappuccinos and placed on a aluminum foil floor above a bunch of hot coals.
No, see, Brian's right there with me. What you're describing are the things that drive me crazy. If it's not editing, it's that thing where they're like, yeah, okay, all right, let's do it.
Overly
That's how they are on
excited.
Price is Right. They have to be on Price is Right.
No, you're right. They are. You're not wrong.
Oh, yeah.
They are on there.
But
That's true.
if they're a 7 on Price is Right compared to the 11 that they have to be on Ellen's Game of Games, I like Ellen's Game of Games except for that aspect of it because I kind of like the whole, it's what Battle of the Frog Pants All Stars would be if I had an unlimited budget.
Yeah.
go. There you go.
I'd basically be shoving you guys into giant pies and making you dance blindfolded with goofy faces on.
Drop us in guacamole and spaghetti sauce.
Exactly. But no, it's that whole. Scott's absolutely nailed that part of it, which drives me nuts. It's the whole fake amped up. You've gotta, if you want us to call your name, you gotta act like you've been shot out of a cannon into a bottle of adrenaline. And
yeah, you're getting the high tee shots all day long. Like, just calm the F down, you know?
And is there anybody who looks more sad to be stuck in the game show that he's on than Joel McHale on Card Sharks? I love Joel McHale, but man, he seems so crying on the inside on Card Sharks.
Oh yeah, no,
I haven't seen him on I like Card Sharks. I usually watch The Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal. Those are really the only two that
those are on the new ones are all on Hulu too. Like I like Alec Baldwin on Match Game, except that show fails because the writers suck. But Joel McHale on Card Sharks just looks like he wants somebody just to put him out of his misery.
He probably does.
I don't think I've seen any of that. Are those worth tracking down and watching? Like, would I enjoy Card Sharks?
If you like the old Card Sharks, it's worth watching the first few minutes of it. I will say this, they don't do the whole Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, dark stage, giant spotlights, that sort of thing. It's really modeled. Match Game is modeled to be just like the old Match Game, and
I
get
tried
celebrities
watching
drunk.
Match Game. I didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's the only one of those that I actually really do like, because they admit that it's dumb.
Yeah.
And the celebrities are getting drunk while you sit there and watch. I mean, the fabulous Kimmy Schmidt is like half in the bag by the time they get to the super match.
Oh, maybe I'll revisit it then.
Or the Unbreakable, I guess it is.
Yeah.
But
you can't break that.
Oh yeah,
Kimmy Schmidt.
Icor brings up Holy Moly, which actually I watched the first episode. I love Robert Riggle, so I was looking forward to this. And it's absolutely. Do you remember that game show, Wipeout? Where people had to climb on a big moving obstacle course.
Mm-hmm.
They've got one of those now that's miniature golf, but it looks like it uses all the old Wipeout props.
How is that even possible?
It's great, and that's also, I think that's on Hulu as well. That one's Holy Moly, and yeah, Rob Riggle is fantastic on that.
I love Rob Riggle, so bring it on.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah, watch that one's worth. Of all the ones we've mentioned, that's probably the one most worth checking out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm into it. Well, there you go. That's a lot of recommendals today.
Yes, it was.
Jeez, yeah, it is.
Yeah, really went far with that one. But that's okay. We enjoyed it. Nicole, is there anything else going on in your world that we should talk about before we go?
We have a new Wood Whisperer video out.
Ooh.
So if you're interested in woodworking, go over to the Wood.
Yeah, starring Ryan, the Kid Wonder.
No.
Oh no.
Starring the chief little prick, Mark Spagnuolo.
Do you see over here? Stop that. the behind me is a hall tree that Mark built, and he released a video on.
Wait, let me see. Hall tree.
Right there.
Yeah, it's like a thing that you put your coats and shoes and all that stuff.
Oh, it's like a coat rack.
Outside.
Okay.
Yeah, I had kids' shoes everywhere, jackets everywhere.
Almost like a set of lockers, really nice lockers without doors on them that you can all put your stuff in the cubbies and stuff like that.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's very cool.
Does it have names on it or anything? You got
it does. I decorated it and put our name at the top of it.
Wow.
I don't think it's shown in the video, but yeah.
Very nice.
Does Dougie have a cube?
No, Dougie. What Dougie does is, unfortunately, I don't have doors on the bottom, and he will come. And Ava always has like cute little rain boots, and he will go in there and take the boot and chew the boot up. So, Dougie.
What are you going to do with that little guy? There's nothing you can do about it.
I love him. I gotta love him.
Well, this has been great. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and week before we see you
Happy
again.
4th.
You as well.
Yeah, happy 4th to you too.
Yay, America. Yay. All right.
Can I take 1 second and admit something? I know we're really long for the show.
Go ahead.
Maybe I save this
good.
as my most embarrassing thing to admit right now.
Go for it. Do it.
Tina and I are watching The Bachelorette.
Oh my lord, dude.
We're watching it with the full knowledge that it is hot garbage.
I mean, I guess if you're doing that, I mean, I'm doing that with Kim as she's watching Riverdale. Same thing. It's terrible,
Okay,
and I
you
know
what?
it.
It is. There you go. It is Riverdale level. Yeah, unsubscribe. I've been kicked out of the
Block
kicked
/
out of the
blocked.
chat.
Yep.
It
No,
is-
you'll
it
have to let
is,
us know how that goes because I am so far
such
from that
a
world.
dumpster fire.
Yeah. Are people?
We've never watched one of these, and basically we just wanted to watch the first episode because that was one of the things we missed when the soup went off the air. Was the bachelors all introducing themselves in the stupidest way possible. Like one guy pops out of a box full of styrofoam because he's a guy who works at a box factory, and they would come up with these stupid puns of like, the guy rides in on a horse and he says, "You get my heart a racing," or something dumb like that. It is absolutely. But now we're friggin' watching all this stupid stuff.
Oh my lord! Well, you please report
Never
later.
again, never again.
Please report later on how it goes, will you? Give us an update. All right, we're going to get out of here. Frogpants.com/TMS is our website. If you're looking to support us, we're over at Patreon.com/TMS. Brian will now play a song to take us out for real. What do you got over there, buddy boy?
I will. It's rare when we get a request for somebody to play their own song, but damn it, this thing's good, and I'm going to play it. David Emeny wrote in and said, "Hi, Scott and Brian. As the new series of Stranger Things is coming, like today, any chance you could play my cover of the main theme on the show? Lots of love, David from London in the UK." And you can follow him at Dave MNE on Twitter. So DAVEMNE. His name is David Emeny, and this is his metal cover of the Stranger Things tribute or Stranger Things theme called Metal Things.
This sounds fantastic. All right, we'll play it now. We'll be back tomorrow. Come on back for a regular Thursday. Wendy will be back. We got some good stuff to cover with her. So check that out. That'll do it for us. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you then. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Hey, what's with the costumes?
Yeah. Explain yourself.
What's with the costume?
What is it? What is with it?